Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content at the top of the screen. $2.36 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 1.9%. Bitcoin right now, 64,800 plus. It's on the move. 2,500 plus for Ethereum, 119 billion plus market cap for Tether, and 34 billion plus for USDC. XRP at the number 7 spot, 53 cents. We're up 1.1 on the 24, 0.3 on the 7-day. The range of price very quickly here between 52 and 54 cents, and we're headed back to the top of that range, which suits me just fine. Let's get started. We'll keep an eye on it. Link to, ladies and gentlemen, your private market investing platform. But I want you to take a look at this right here. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Okay, yeah. So you have to sign in to see, but look at some of these products here. Let's just scroll down here for a second. Ripple's still available. Cerebras, Anthropic. We just told you about the massive investment Amazon's making into them and how they're going to combine the technology of the product Claude that they've made, the AI assistant, with Alexa. You can own that before it goes public or has some kind of merger. That's amazing to me right there. And then we see Grok is available, Gecko Robotics. Look, this is remarkable. SingerStore, CoreWeave, Zipline, automated drones, internet investment at events.com. You can see Uphold is available, FinTech, Kraken, Stripe. This is some of the best opportunities in the world right here. Patreon's available. Look, don't mess around, ladies and gentlemen. Click the link below. Get started today. It takes less than 3 or 4 minutes to open your account and fund it. That's how streamlined this process is. Take control of your future and finances. Click the link underneath the video. Check out my sponsor. Now, I showed this over the weekend, but I'm level setting because we got some more news to take a look at today that makes Brics way more serious than it was yesterday.
This is the biggest thing people are not talking about. The Brics nations have an agreement. They are going to move off of the dollar. They're going to stop trading in the dollar. They're going to stop trading in the petrodollar.
That is House of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. It doesn't mean that she's right, but what she's talking about is something that we follow heavily here as well, right? Now, this is someone who works on Capitol Hill, seeing the threat, geopolitical threat to the U.S. dollar dominance. Stay with me here. The Chinese CBDC app reaches 180 million wallets, processing $7.3 trillion in Chinese yuan transactions in the first half of this year. Just the first half of this year. It should scare the daylights out of all of us that someone as bad an actor as China is and the way it treats and rules its people is at the forefront of this technology. It concerns me greatly. I don't know how it hits you. But take a listen to this. Iranian central bank governor talking about Brics.
In the Brics meetings, there were very good agreements made regarding the financial and monetary sphere. Iran made good agreements with the Central Bank of Russia during the period when they were the secretary of Brics, and we had good agreements regarding the connection of card networks and monetary and financial cooperation, all of which we have raised in the Brics. For example, today in the Brics, the issue of paying for the transactions with local currency is one of the issues, and a very good agreement has been reached. Good agreements regarding global reserve payments and the use of bonds for payment were also made. We now have a global financial system based mostly on the IMF, the World Bank, and Western countries. Unfortunately, due to the political interactions with those countries, today the world is considering other arrangements. Definitely within the Brics group of countries, such arrangements will be made between the member states. We have a payment system between countries based on local currencies. That was one of the topics of this meeting. China, Russia, and Iran are very interested in it. We have moved towards being able to conduct transactions with other countries in local currencies and reduce the role of the US dollar in international international transactions. Russia has also made good progress. I think the BRICS countries have developed well and will definitely develop in the future. The new development bank, created by BRICS, can pursue many of the development goals of the BRICS member countries. Because today, the World Bank operates within the framework of the goals of the United States and Western countries. We hope that NDB will play this role for the BRICS member countries, and we want to become a member of NDB.
And there you have it. Gold Telegraph says it right. When BRICS settles more commodities in local currencies, people will not only see a shift in the system's fabric, but also witness its very foundation being rewired. Commodities drive our world. Finance is built on top of it. Don't forget that. Gold Telegraph has got it right on the money here. And we've been trying to confirm if during this new BRICS meeting that the members of BRICS have signed a de-dollarization agreement. Now, we haven't confirmed that particular point yet, but we're looking to, and if anyone can help us do that, please do. Now, one thing that gives that a little confirmation that those de-dollarization agreements may have been signed amongst BRICS members is that India came out specifically, as we reported on early last week, and said that they are not intentionally going to pull away from the dollar, but they will use more local currencies where it makes sense. And they were not going to deliberately drop the dollar. And that felt like that may have been a report that was made from India to distinguish the fact that they didn't possibly sign one of these de-dollarization agreements. I don't know. Again, we're trying to get more information. But we do know that BRICS will be introducing a new digital system. And this is a report from the Russian finance minister, the Bank of Russia, highlighting the need for this multi-currency system to protect participants from external pressures such as sanctions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is coming. And this is one of the massive reasons why. The new research paper out of Russia proposes the future of digital or international monetary system and financial system. The country is the current chair of BRICS, which is meeting next week. One of its proposals is the CBDC and distributed ledger technology system to support local currency payments. They're moving towards this very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. And for the first time, BRICS Coalition has officially received an application to join the bloc from a developing country in North America. Oh, yes, Cuba. I remind you right now how big of a deal this is. Do you remember the Bay of Pigs? Do you remember the Cuban Missile Crisis? Let me help you with it real quick, because my stepfather was in the Bay of Pigs. God rest his soul. Russia wanted to put nuclear bombs down in Cuba. And John F. Kennedy said, if you do that, you're going to cause world war. Don't do that. That is not much different than Russia and Ukraine conflict, if you think of it. Ukraine is in the backyard of Russia. If they were to become a NATO member and put missiles there, how would that be any different than when Russia wanted to do it back in the day down in Cuba? The fact that Cuba is looking to join BRICS today almost opens that door for that question again. And could this be one more way that Putin is looking to shove it right back in the U.S.'s ass about the idea that, oh, we can't have missiles down there or relationships with entities too close to your border, but it's okay for you to fund Ukraine at our border. Right? And then we have this. Senator Bill Hagerty from Tennessee. For too long, the benefits and promises of stablecoins have been hindered by the lack of legal clarity. It feels like it's getting closer this time, ladies and gentlemen. And to that point, I want you to listen here as the Blockchain Association, Kristen Smith, talks about exactly when we could see legislation on this for stablecoins. Take a listen.
How might the November election flip that or change that or accelerate that? And then kind of what do we expect depending on that outcome next year? You know, again, maybe like, does it break down to we'll just get stablecoin if the Democrats win, or it's going to be market structure?
Yeah. I mean, I think those are the two issues you just mentioned: stablecoin and market structure. Excuse me. Those are the.
And maybe just very briefly, why don't you define those two again?
Yeah.
What exactly are the stablecoin bill and market structure? What might that entail?
No, so I would actually say broadly, there are three policy areas that are most interesting for Congress. The first is stablecoin legislation, and this goes back to 2019 when Facebook announced the Libra project. There's been a lot of interest in stablecoin, and the problem is there's not any regulatory framework in place for how to deal with stablecoins. They're so different than what we see in the traditional banking world today that those rules don't really apply. And this was a conclusion that not the industry came up with, but the president's working group, which is a working group of senior financial regulators, both in the Trump administration and again in the Biden administration, said, hey, we need to have some way to regulate so that when you have these centralized issuers of stablecoins, we know that those reserves are put in appropriate asset classes and that they're there, right? That there's audits and there's some standards around this. Like, this just doesn't exist in federal law today. So putting that framework in place is something that should be relatively easy to do. It could actually happen in the lame duck, depending on how productive of a legislative session. The lame duck being the period of time between the election and when the new Congress takes place. So basically the month of December. That is something that could be done in the lame duck, or I think it's something that could move fairly quickly, like Q1, Q2 next year.
Why is that? Why would it move quicker than other things?
Because it's sort of an isolated issue that has been very well vetted. I would say in general, the legislative process is not something that happens in a couple weeks or a couple months. It takes, for something comprehensive, it can take up to 7-10 years to get a bill done, right? So if you look back to 2019 or heading into 2025, like, this is something where there have been a dozen plus congressional hearings on stablecoin legislation. There have been drafts in both the House and the Senate. There have been a lot of ideas that have been publicly vetted and refined, and it's just kind of ready to go. It's not something that somebody just introduced yesterday. This is an issue that's been debated longer than any other issue. So we could see some movement on that.
And there you have it. It doesn't mean it'll happen, but it is a window we should pay very close attention to. We do not want to get caught off guard, not in a moment like this. The charts are looking crazy in a good way. Now, take a listen to this very quickly here.
I've got a PhD student in the RBA at the moment, and it's sort of embedded in there. And I assumed, because she's a lawyer, the RBA would want her to look at the legal issues around a CBDC. But when we had the early discussions, their response was, well, we don't have to worry about that. We're the Reserve Bank. If we don't have the authority, we'll get it, right? If we need a new act, we'll get it. That's not interesting. The interesting thing to them is, how do you govern a multilateral CBDC arrangement? How do you govern the relations between the countries so that CBDCs can be used for international trade in an efficient way?
And there it is, right? There's someone acknowledging what we've talked about for years from this channel. If they need their laws or an act passed or some kind of new legislation, they're going to get it. Relevance, power, and control. They're not looking to give any of it up. The central banks are not losing any of it. And not because I don't want it, but because I know how the system works. And he's acknowledging that here too. The real trick of it all is, how do you honor and respect all these different multiple jurisdictions? And that is what Ripple have been working on for more than a decade. We know that things are gearing up, ladies and gentlemen, because Swift has said they're launching live digital asset transactions in 2025 on its network. That is hugely exciting to me, and I know it is to you. And at the same time, we should be days away now from the real USD, given all things that we know to this point. We see there's almost 50 million RLUSD minted at this point. We got to be close, ladies and gentlemen. And then there's a new advertisement rolling out in the UK around the world here. Look at this. A new campaign from Ripple.
Got that new
leader in Ripple.
Liverpool Street Station.
Modernize with Ripple.
Ripple.
Bank
Money is going bye-bye.
Great slogan. Ripple, bank on security. I love it. Look, we know this is where we are right now. The genuine wake-up line from XRP-Crypto. Shout out to this guy. Look at this. Look at this, where we're at right here. There's not much more. Look, would you be the one who stops digging when you're 6 inches, 2 inches away from hitting a gold mine? Come on. All we have to do is sit back and go to work, love our families, love our life, continue to work on ourselves, the people around us, be better friends, be better parents, be better husband, wife, right? All of it. Focus on those things. and just watch this do its thing. Wherever it goes, we're here for it together, and I'm super excited. Digperspectives.com, where you can follow us. Please click the Freedom Zone and come on in. There's been another attempt. Is it third or fourth? But you know what? Sickening is what it is. But we're going to hear from that, and we have so much more that you need to know as well. We're going into the Freedom Zone right now. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Go to digperspectives.com, click on the Freedom Zone, and come on in. All right, welcome back.